Hello students. So students, in the last session we started with the 7th chapter. The name of the chapter was cell division. Now in the previous session we studied about cell cycle, the phases of cell cycle, and then we studied about mitosis as a phase in detail. So in mitosis we studied about the 4 phases of karyokinesis, that is prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. And at the end of telophase we saw that there is a nuclear division that takes place. Then we studied about the cytokinesis, that is the cytoplasmic division, and we studied that cytokinesis is different in animal cell and in plant cell, where in animal cell there is a cleavage furrow formation, and in plant cell there is a plate formation, there is a division by a cell plate formation. Now after this we also studied about the significance of mitosis, where we studied that mitosis being an equational division, it is only restricted to the diploid cell, and the production of diploid daughter cells is with identical genetic complement. That means identical genetic material is being transferred from one cell to other. The growth of multicellular organism we saw is due to the process of mitosis, and because of this it is very important to maintain the nucleocytoplasmic ratio. Mitosis, it is also very significant for cell repair that we studied. That means if any cell is damaged or it is worn out, it is replaced by the new cell. And the cells of the upper layer of the epidermis, the cell of the lining of your gut, and the blood cells are some cells that are constantly replaced. Okay, and the mitotic division in the meristematic tissue, that means if we speak about plants, so the mitotic division in the meristematic tissue, which is the apical and the lateral cambium, results in a continuous growth of plant throughout their life. So this is what we studied about mitosis. Now in this session we will be starting with the second phase, that is the meiosis phase. Now we know that the production of offspring is by sexual reproduction, and it includes the fusion of two gametes. Now these two gametes that fuse together, they have a complete haploid cell of chromosome. Okay, so unlike mitosis, here there is a haploid cell of haploid set of chromosomes, and the gametes that are formed from these specialized cells, they are the specialized diploid cells. Okay, so this specialized kind of cell division that reduces the chromosome number to half is called as mitosis. Okay, so here what is happening? In mitosis, it was an equational division. That means equal number of chromosome was transferred from one generation to the progeny. Over here in meiosis, what is happening? Here it is a reductional division. That means the diploid chromosome are getting reduced to haploid set of chromosome. Okay, so this is one difference between the major difference between mitosis and meiosis. Now meiosis, it actually ensures the production of haploid phase in the life cycle of sexually reproducing organisms. Okay, and we come across meiosis during gametogenesis, and this happens in both plants as well as in animals. And because of this leads to a formation of haploid gametes. Now there are some key features of meiosis as well. The first one is that meiosis, it involves two sequential cycles of nuclear or cell division. That means there is two sequential cycle of karyokinesis and cytokinesis. Okay, and meiosis 1, okay, now as said that there are two types of meiosis, that they are divided into two parts. So the first phase, that is meiosis 1, it is initiated after the parental chromosomes have replicated to produce identical sister chromatid. That happens in S phase that we have studied previously. So if you remember, in S phase what happens is there is a synthesis happening. Okay, the synthesis is of, or you can say the replication is of identical sister chromatids. So after the replication or the production of identical sister chromatids, meiosis 1 is initiated. Now meiosis, what does it involve? It involves pairing of homologous chromosomes and the recombination between the non-sister chromatids that we will be studying further when we are studying the stages of meiosis. And at the end of meiosis 2, what we get is the 4 haploid cell. Again, in mitosis we used to get a diploid cell, correct, where the number of chromosome used to be equally similar. but here in meiosis at the end what we get is 4 haploid cell. That means we are starting with diploid cell, but the end is reduced to 4 haploid cell. Now let us start with meiosis 1. Now as said that meiotic events can be grouped under the two phases, the two broad phases, the meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Now the first stage of meiosis 1 is prophase 1, and prophase 1 itself is being divided into 5 phases. Okay, so prophase being the first meiotic division, it is typically longer than any other phase of meiosis, and it is also a very complex one. Only prophase 1 is a little complex, and it is then subdivided into following phases. The first phase is leptotene phase. Now during this phase, the chromosomes, they gradually become visible. So as you can see here in this picture, there is a compact structure that is made, a compaction of chromosome that takes place in leptotene phase. And then this is followed by the second phase of prophase 1, that is zygotene phase. Now if you see in zygotene phase, there is a pairing that has started. So the chromosomes, they start pairing together, and this process of pairing of these homologous chromosome is called as synapsis. So again, synapsis is seen in which phase? It is seen in the zygotene phase of prophase 1. Then now the complex that is formed by the pair of this synapsed homologous chromosome, this is called a bivalent, or it is also called as a tetrad. And in zygotene it is not very clearly visible, but if you see the next stage, that is pachytene, here you can very clearly see the tetrad structure. Now the first two stages of prophase 1, that is the zygotene and the leptotene phase, they are very short lived. Okay, and the next stage, that is the pachytene stage, is a little longer than the first two stages. Now during this stage of pachytene, the 4 chromatids, the 4 sister chromatids of each of these bivalent chromosomes, they become very distinct and they are very clearly visible. So as I said, in zygotene, the synapses of homologous chromosome, that is the bivalent formation, it is not very clearly seen, but in pachytene stage it is very clearly seen. Now this stage, it is characterized by the appearance of recombination nodules. Okay, so here there is a crossing over that takes place between the non-sister chromatids of the homologous chromosome. Now this crossing over, what is crossing over? Crossing over means that there is an exchange of genetic material. Okay, so when there is an exchange of genetic material between the two homologous chromosomes, there is a variation that takes place. Okay, here there is a recombination that is happening, and this recombination will result into a variation in the genetic material. And so the offspring that we see is a little different than the parent of parent's genetic material. Okay, so this is because of the crossing over, where there is a recombination taking place. And this crossing over, it is an enzyme mediated process. That means there is an involvement of an enzyme, and the enzyme that is involved for this process is called as recombinase. Okay, so recombination process, it is associated with an enzyme, and the name of the enzyme is recombinase. Now the recombination between these homologous chromosome, it is completed at the end of pachytene stage, and so it is said that the pachytene stage, that is the third stage, is a little longer than the first two stages. Okay, now the next stage after pachytene is the diplotene phase. Now here you will see a dissolution of the synaptonemal complex. So the synapses that has happened, it slowly gets dissolved, and the tendency of the recombined homologous chromosomes of this bivalent structure, it starts to separate from each other. Okay, the other parts, they just get separated from each other, except the part of the crossing over. And here you can see that there is a formation of X shape that takes place. And this X shape that is formed due to the crossover is called as chiasmata. Okay, so the chiasma or the chiasmata, it is seen at the diplotene stage of prophase 1. Okay, now the final stage of meiotic prophase 1 is dikinesis, which is after diplotene, and this is marked as the terminalization of chiasmata. So here the chiasmata, it gets terminated, and during this phase the chromosomes, they are fully condensed, and at the end of this dikinesis the nucleolus it completely disappears, or you can say it starts to disappear, and the nuclear envelope also breaks down. Okay, and then this dikinesis will give rise to the metaphase. So here with dikinesis prophase 1 ends. Now if you see again in prophase 1 in zygotine, you will see that there is a synapsis that is taking place. The first stage, that was liptotene, here what happens is here there is a compaction of a chromosome. Then in pachydine you will see that there is a crossing over that has just initiated, but this crossing over it is more visible in the next stage, that is diplotene stage. And in diplotene stage the crossing over that is seen, or the X-shaped structure that is seen, it is called as chiasmata. And next in dikinesis, that is the last stage, what happens over here is the nucleolus will disappear, the nuclear envelope also breaks down, and this gives rise to the metaphase. Now in metaphase, anaphase and telophase, like metaphase 1, anaphase 1 and telophase 1, the process is very similar to what we have seen in mitosis. Okay, so only prophase 1 is a little different and it is complex, as I said previously. In metaphase 1, anaphase 1 and telophase 1, it is very similar to the process of mitosis that we have studied. So let us see what happens over here. In metaphase 1, as you can see over here in the picture, the bivalent chromosomes, they align. Okay, so after prophase, there is this metaphase where you can see that the bivalent chromosomes, they are aligning at this equatorial plane. And then you will also see that the microtubules from the opposite poles of the spindle fiber, they get attached to the kinetochore of this homologous chromosome. Then coming to anaphase 1, here what happens is the homologous chromosomes, they are separated. Okay, so you will see that the sister chromatids, they remain associated to the centromere, and the homologous chromosomes are separated and they move to the opposite pole. The next one is telophase 1, the last phase of meiosis 1 is telophase 1, where you can see that the nuclear membrane and the nucleolus, it starts to reappear, and cytokinesis, this is followed by after this karyokinesis stage. That means there is a division of cytoplasm also taking place. Now the stage which is between the two mitotic division, that is the first meiosis and the second meiosis, it is called as interkinesis. Okay, so this interkinesis stage between the two meiotic division is called as, it is a very short-lived stage. In this phase of interkinesis, there is no replication of DNA, and then this interkinesis is followed by prophase 2, which is, you know, not very similar to prophase 1. As we saw in prophase 1, it is a much complex process. So prophase 2 is much simpler than prophase 1. So now let us now see the stages of meiosis 2. Now the first stage of meiosis 2 is prophase 2, and this stage is initiated immediately after the cytokinesis that we have seen previously. Now in contrast to meiosis 1, this meiosis 2 stages, they resemble the normal mitosis. Okay, so here in prophase 2, what will happen is the nuclear membrane will slowly disappear, and the nucleolus also slowly disappear, and the chromosomes, they become compact. Okay, this gives rise to metaphase 2. Now metaphase 2, now what happens over here, the difference is it takes place in two cells simultaneously. Okay, and that is how at the end you get a tetrad structure of haploid cells. Now in metaphase 2, the chromosomes, as you can see in both the cells, they get aligned at the equatorial plane, and the microtubules are given out from the two opposite poles of the spindle, which gets attached to the kinetochores that you can see over here at the center. Okay, this gives rise to anaphase 2. Anaphase 2, it becomes with a simultaneous splitting of the centromere. So again, there is a splitting of centromere, and the two sister chromatids, they move to opposite poles. Then this gives rise to telophase 2. Now meiosis ends with the telophase 2 stage, in which the two groups of chromosomes, once again they get enclosed by a nuclear envelope, and then after this cytokinesis is followed, that means the cytoplasmic division is followed, and this results in a formation of tetrad structure. That means a 4 haploid daughter cell is formed at the end of meiosis 2. So students, with this we finished the stages of meiosis as well. Now let us also study the significance of meiosis. The first one is that there is a constancy of the chromosomal number, and this is followed from generation to generation. Then there is a normal and you can say random assortment that takes place of the maternal and the paternal chromosomes. And then there is also a recombination of genetic material. So because of this recombination of genetic material, what we get is we get a variability in population of the organism. That means there is no same genetic material passed from one generation to another, but there is a variation that takes place. Okay, and this variation, it helps in evolving of the population of the organism. Now, meiosis, it is a type of a mechanism by which conservation of a specific chromosome number of each species is achieved across generation in only sexually reproducing organisms. Okay, so there is a conservation of specific chromosome number that is achieved over here. So students, these are some of the significance of meiosis, and with this we also finish this chapter, and in the next session we'll be starting with the 8th chapter of your syllabus.